Dang, I like this knife. It's going to be a fun KRV. I'm excited about this blade on 2 different levels. I will discuss in just a second what I mean by that. But first, for the intro to this KRV in the TMP Knife Show, a personal admission of sorts. Now, I think I've told you guys this before, but with 1,800 videos out there over the last 12 or so years, it's hard to keep track. Know what I mean? I don't know. I do a pretty good job of keeping track of stuff I've talked about, but here's the admission. It can be a vice or it can be a virtue. I'm transparent. What you see is what you get. If you talk to anyone who meets me in real life, they'll say, yep, he's just like he is on camera. Sometimes goofy, you know, off the wall, sense of humor, genuine. Talk to anyone who's met me. They'll say the same thing. I pride myself in being genuine. The flip side to that is I'm pretty transparent. So if I meet someone, for instance, I don't particularly care for, they will generally know it. I wish I wasn't that way. I wish I could hide that. But I feel like I'm being fake, and I hate being fake. So you see how that yin and yang works? Transparent. As a gear reviewer, though, it's a virtue, generally, because my audience likes it. Subscribers like it. Patreon members like it, because they know no one owns my voice, and it is what it is. Just like this KRV. So if something sucks, I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to try to give some mature, objective criticism to the manufacturer so they can improve it. And there are many examples where I feel like my voice has aided that process. Glad to help. Likewise, if something's pretty awesome, like this Guardian Tactical RECON 35, I'm going to be pretty excited about it. Genuine excitement. There's where that transparency is nice. It's infectious too, because if I'm excited about something, guys trust my voice to go, you know what, I'm buying that. Buy it, don't buy it. There's no money in my pocket. I don't care. But you're going to get an objective, fair review. And actually, so is the manufacturer. All manufacturers get a fair and objective review here. They do. I'll have my preferences. I always throw those down. There's my admission. Hope you liked it. Counseling session over. Yeah, you're looking at the RECON 35. That's what they're calling it now. I think I saw another name for it, the LX03 OTF knife, and it's by a company called Guardian Tactical. Have you ever heard of them before? I hadn't. 100% made in the US. Here's the details of this particular blade. It may be an early production model and things may change, but I think the overall theme will be the same. Colorations will change. I think I'll remember to talk about that. But here's why I'm excited about the blade. Okay, we're talking about transparency, gear enthusiasm. Number one, this is a technically competent new OTF design. Kudos to Guardian Tactical. Now, I won't say it's groundbreaking. It's not like changing what we've seen before. It's basically taking some elements from other blades, packaging it in a slightly different way. Different blade shape, basically what every manufacturer does. Okay, that's a given. But it's competent. He uses really excellent materials. As you're going to see, the action is superb. First cool, they got it down. The second reason I'm excited about this knife and GT, Guardian Tactical, coming out with this and other OTF designs is because I think it reverses a trend in the knife market away from auto blades, which I don't like. And I've done many rants about that over the years. TMPers who watch the Knife Show know exactly what I'm talking about. For instance, once upon a year, here comes a mini story. Get ready, grab your cup of cocoa and some popcorn. There was a knife. It sold very well from what I know about it. It was excellent, lightweight, fast, relatively affordable, and the manufacturer quit making it. I won't mention the manufacturer. Kershaw! Excuse me. Oh gosh, something in the air. Yeah, it was Kershaw. It was a 7000, and they, for whatever reason, they dropped it. And I've talked about this in some other knife reviews and ranted about it. Talked to them at a trade show and said, hey, why did you discontinue that really hot selling auto knife? Long story short, liability. That's why they quit selling it then. Now that was a long time ago. since then, that company has reversed and come out with some pretty sweet auto knives. And I've reviewed them and given them congratulations for doing so. And they're very competent, excellent, high value, all that stuff. Go check out those reviews. But other manufacturers have followed suit. They've dropped auto knives, and we all just kind of shrugged our shoulders and said, why? Is it a move against, auto knives are dangerous, a switchblade mentality, all that foolishness? I don't know. I think some of it is because some designs like the Citadel by Spyderco did not sell that great, and they marketed it only to an LE military audience, from what I know. That's probably a mistake by itself. Market it to civilians. If they're in a state where they can own an auto knife, let them own an auto knife. Market it to them. Who cares? All knives are potentially dangerous, so to speak. Who cares? I'm an anti-protectionist mentality dude. You guys know that. Rant complete. But I'm happy that Guardian Tactical, an American production knife, is reversing that trend. Here we have a brand new OTF knife, premium quality, premium materials. Hallelujah. That's the second reason I'm super excited about the knife. Super excited. Now at this stage, it's new in its production, it's new in its life. I can't tell you how this is going to morph. I do know they're going to make different colors. This is satin black, anodized version, I believe. Satin anodizing, not matte. We'll look at another matte anodized OTF knife as a competitive option. They're going to have two-tone variations with a stonewash type, mixtures of black and stonewash. Who knows what they're doing for finishes. Classic black will always sell. A lot of guys like it. I have said in past KRVs, sometimes I get tired of black. I have black knives everywhere. It's just the way it is. I have black guns. Here is a Ruger Security 9 in testing. Watch for this GRV. Speaking of transparency, this pistol's pretty good, especially for the money. There you go. And you're going to hear about that in that GRV. But talking about a black knife, here we go with a Microtech Ultratech in a drop point. This is actually coming out of a tank bag, motorcycle tank bag, the ZX14. I run this knife in there because I think an auto knife, we jumped ahead to POU, I think an auto knife when you're on a motorcycle makes a ton of sense because I will always have just one hand readily available. I may or may not be able to wave a manual action knife out of the pocket because I don't have standard pockets on my riding gear. They're odd. It's usually occluded. It's better to keep it in the tank bag. So that's the purpose of this particular Microtech. I put blue tape on it so I can recognize it in the dark abyss of the tank bag. There you go. A little insight to my own system. This is a great knife, by the way. I raved about the Microtech Ultratech. It is such an excellent OTF knife. It really is. It was so excellent, in fact, that I came out with my own version years ago, 2012. Here is serial number 007. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. 007. Dude, this would be a cool one to sell, but I have no intention of selling it. So this is the coloration I chose. Is a FDE anodizing that Microtech did on this variation. So it's a competitive option. Not necessarily this one, but this a Microtech Ultratech is what I'm trying to say. I'm showing you the color here because we're going to talk about future colors. I'm going to give my 2 cents what I think they should come out with the RECON. Anyways, there's a look at here. Black and fasteners, black and clip, laser engraved. This one had a two-tone bayonet style of blade. That's what I opted for, and it was very popular. These are selling for about double what we sold them for. I think when we came out with this knife, it was selling, what about this one selling for? $235, I think. This one's going to retail at $280. It's going to street, I'm just guessing, guys, $235, $240, same as this one. I can't tell you if the Guardian will go up. I mean, this is just a standard, stock grade OTF knife. They may or may not come out special editions. I don't know. You guys know I love Microtech. I always will. I think their OTF knives, the Scarab, the Ultratech, some of the others they've done have been some of the best in the industry. You can never fault their quality levels. Yes, some of them have quirks for sure. I'll talk about a quirk of this particular Ultratech when we talk about the action on the RECON. But just competitive options, and you can see the size and the handle sets, the difference. This really actually reminds me more of a Scarab than Ultratech. And I do have a Scarab, but I couldn't find it. It's in another system. I haven't lost it. I haven't lost it. What? How do you lose a Microtech Nothing Fancy? I'm not going to say I haven't lost knives before. I have. But I ain't lose no auto knife, dude. It's in a system. Probably in another set of motorcycle pants. Again, that's where I like using auto knives. And let's jump there super quick. Philosophy of use on the RECON 035. And I hope I'm saying that right. Again, the nomenclature may change on this blade. Well, I don't think this is a self-defense knife. I really don't. I think it's a little bit small. I think it's an EDC and a collectible, like most OTF knives. Maybe a toy knife. Not that it's a toy that it can't do any real work. I'm not saying that. But a toy in the sense that you just want to fondle it and play around with your knife. That's what I'm talking about. End of philosophy of use discussion. Rest is application standard, dudes. There you go. I'm going to start off with the technical review, something I said this thing nails on the RECON, by showing you the action. This is one of the most important aspects of an OTF knife. You guys know this. It's what's going to sell the knife at a counter. Like if you go into Blade HQ in Lehigh, Utah, and by the way, they are going to be one of the first launch customers for the RECON, so look at the link below. Buy them while you can. But one of the things that will sell that OTF knife is this. Auto knife guys understand. I mean, if it has a bad action on it, it's like, I just don't like the action on it. And we are particular about it. And I'm an auto knife guy. I have been since the year 2000. My auto knives way predate TMP. I've shown you multiple versions of them. And I have my Microtech. Yeah, I don't have any other Microtechs up here. Anyways, a smooth, fast action is exciting. It's fun. And man, did Guardian just nail it with this. Oh, it is perfect. It's fast. Let's check the movement. Just a slight amount of side-to-side play, which you need in an OTF knife. I've talked about that in all my reviews of OTFs. If you don't have one, don't own one, you may go, hey, why is it doing that? Well, you kind of have to have, in current technology, who knows how it's going to change in the future, with the current technology with which this knife features, the RECON, the side-to-side is necessary for deployment. And retraction. And by the way, it does have a safety mechanism, so it won't stab into nothing. So we'll disengage, just pull it out, and then retract it. And unlike some other OTF knives, kind of like the Halo, which by the way I love, that's Microtech. Do I have that here? Oh, dude, I have my Halo here. Oh, that's exciting. Love this knife. There's that transparency again, by the way. So I keep this here by the reviewing table because it's so freaking awesome. That's why. Check that sucker out. Dang! Dang, that's a good size comparison. Oh, by the way, I'm not saying that this is a competitive option, but I wanted to show you how this one has to be manually charged because the blade is too long and has too much mass to have a double action. This is a single action OTF. So I think you guys get that. I can't grab that. There we go. God, that coloration's sick. Oh, let's visit that super quick. So one thing Microtech has always done and done very well is colorations. They just come out with just different, random, military-looking camouflage patterns, and they'll make, I don't know, 50 knives in that color set, and then they're gone. Notice they oversprayed the talon right here, the claw. I don't care. Doesn't matter. I still love it as a user, the owner of this knife. I'm never selling this thing. I'm never selling it. It's just too freaking cool. What is that dated? 2011? That's a great blade shape, by the way. Now, talking philosophy of use, go check out my Halo review. This is a defensive knife. I mean, it's got traction, it's got reach, it's got a long handle. This is more EDC collectible. Okay, there you go. We're talking colors, though. They are going to come out with a mixture. I think I may mention it, black, two-tone, dark stonewash. I think I mentioned that. But one thing I was going to suggest to Guardian is this coloration right here, dudes. Oh, and I don't think you can anodize this coloration. You would have to Cerakote it. Are you listening, Guardian? This is an F16I, Israeli F16 in 1/72nd scale. It is by a company called Easy Model. I bought it off eBay as a cast member for just such a purpose for representing an awesome camouflage pattern and actually an awesome weapon system. This thing is awesome. So it's always a two-place with the F-16I, conformal fuel tanks, CFTs, dorsal spine with jamming systems. Additional that U.S. fighters don't have, but it's also going to create weight and drag, so it's going to increase the fuel burn, lessen the range. This weapons loadout, by the way, on this sucker is not standard. I think for the model, they just totally loaded it up with some laser-guided munitions. Looks like they've got, what is that, an AIM 7 on there? And then also the F-16I has a proprietary, what do they call it? Raphael Python 5 infrared missile. I don't know which one that would be, but sick model, right? Super sick camouflage. And that's why we're looking at it here. So if you came out with this exact pattern on your Guardian Tactical Recon, dudes, you're going to sell out. Don't make it unlimited. I mean, maybe produce 500 or 200 of that run. Call it quits. But you'll have guys go to BHQ and add to cart and check out as fast as possible so they get one. It'll be like this. A little pro tip from TMP to you. And by the way, I'm a collector, so I'm talking as a collector, not just a reviewer, obviously. But it was interesting to see this one, the larger blade, and it's single action. This is double action OTF. If you're unfamiliar with the type, just a little something, something. Talked about the side-to-side play. Talked about the speed and quickness of deployment. And really, it reminds me of a very inexpensive OTF knife, which I had equal enthusiasm about. And man, I still love this. And I think Blade HQ still sells them. The Lightning. You guys remember this one? Dude, this thing is fast. This is an inexpensive Chinese-produced OTF knife, but man, I've used them a lot and they've never broken on me. I think it has 9 CR 13 MOV steel. This one's wearing my edge. It's blackened. Super sick lime green handle set here, and it's pot metal. It's not great quality. I'm not saying it is, but I'm showing it to you for the action. I told you in that review that this is something you just annoy your wife with. You'll be over there watching TV. She's like, can you put that thing away? God, it's annoying. Mine has. I love playing with OTF knives. And that's another philosophy of use, is just play around with them. It's a toy, like I said. Toy, philosophy of use. Look at the blade shape. This is hollow ground in the blackened portion, and the steel is CPM 154. So CPM is a powder metallurgy, super fine grain structure, great edge holding, and it's a premium expensive steel. Good job, GT. Hollow ground drop point. A fuller in there that's indented. Machined nicely. It just looks good. And that's just visual interest. That doesn't do anything but visual interest. Unsharpened swedge on the top. I wouldn't sharpen it. Myself, I wouldn't. The handle is conventional, but it's nice. I would like to see jimping on future models, top and bottom, but I might be in the minority on that. I'm just going to say I might be. I think a lot of guys who are collectors don't want it, and they don't care. They just want it to have a great action. We talked about that. Great looks. In the coloration discussion, we talked about that. Maybe they don't care. But as an EDC knife, you know, this deployment button will function. I mean, it's going to give you a purchase. The only thing is you're going to find, since it is a top-mounted deployment button, just like the Lightning is, and I'm sorry, I don't have my Scarab or something else here. We'll look at the Ultratech. Ultratech has the same thing, that it's a little bit aft-mounted, so to use it to lock the knife in, you're coming back on the handle, and it's a pretty short handle. So you might come up like that, but I find it, if you're going to do something where you're going to thrust cut, I'd come back. You do have some milling on the side, and I think this is 6061 aluminum. But really nice fit and quality on this GT. Like I said, very technically competent. As far as I know, this is their first OTF knife they've come out with. They make some other knives, and I did surf their website. I don't know if I'm a super fan of the Conix or the Helix or the Excelis. No, you know, some people like the really funky, organic, alien-type knives. You can go to their website, check it out. I'm a more conventional grind guy. I've always said that. No glass breaker back here. I think maybe their thinking is they don't want to look like, you know, Microtech too much, and I totally get that. So they're using a different clip. Their handle looks different. Their deployment button looks different. I don't think they're copying Microtech at all. I think they're their own creature. They are. I do like having a glass breaker. That's one thing I said about the Ultratech. I like it. I think it's functional as an EMT tool. And then we look at the clip right here. Adequately thick for some tactical pants, double screw. And you're stuck with its position. And it's going to be tipped down. Don't mind it at all. The color on this, I really don't mind because this is a two-tone black and silver variation. I think it works. If I had a camouflage version like that F16i, this one, I would want the clip totally camouflaged. Just like that Microtech that I showed you, just spray the whole thing. Spray it. You know, Cerakote the whole thing, guys will love it. And just make it totally subdued, military looking. You can take it apart. You can see the fasteners there in the handle set. As always, I don't recommend you do that. And I'm sure Guardian Tactical doesn't recommend you do that. They're very difficult to get back together. And some manufacturers, I don't know if GT is this way, but if they detect that you've taken apart, it voids their warranty, which is right here. Boop. Emporium, PA is where they're out of. You see their contact information there. Again, I want you to go to BHQ to buy this if you like it. The Guardian Tactical, as you can tell, I'm very enthusiastic about it. It's so cool to see another great OTF knife come out. Yeah, it reminds me of a Scarab, maybe a little bit of Ultratech thrown in there. One thing I didn't talk about is the narrowness and how light this thing is. It's not like super, super light, but it's 3.8 ounces and it's super thin. So this is a very easy to carry, unobtrusive EDC OTF blade. Awesome. Basically what I said about this one. I mean, same thing. It's like it just disappears in your pocket. You don't know it's there until you need it. And it's super cool. I still love manual actions. You guys know that. I'm a big fan of manual action knives. I think they can get the job done. But I have a thing for auto knives. I do. I like you're seeing with that Halo. I don't know. Second cool thing, I just like them. And sometimes, like you're seeing on this one right here, I'm still using them in active systems. I did it in the military, 21 years as a pilot. I carried auto knives all the time. There are certain applications that an auto knife makes the most sense. It does. It beats a manual action in certain applications. And, you know, maybe you have systems like that too. But I think for most people, it's a second cool thing. They'll just love it. And they'll say, man, that just makes me happy. I like playing with a blade. And I think the price is in there. Like I said, $280 retail. You know, is it going to street, low 200s? I don't know. Whatever it is, it's worth it. I think it represents good value. It's an American-produced product. So is, you know, Microtech, I said. And there's some other blades, too, I've covered over the years. Oh, I'm so glad I'm going to throw this one on the camera. This is a competitive option. It's been seen many times in a gear check. Speaking of which, why don't you guys ever carry an auto knife in a gear check? I never see guys carrying an auto knife. I do. I mean, I've gear checked with this Infidel so many times, it's not even funny. So this is an awesome clip-bladed Infidel, which they have stupidly discontinued. Benchmade has. As far as I know, I haven't seen it come out. They have the double-edged Infidel out, and that's what you're going to get. This is a tactical blade to me, though, but because it has a longer handle, has a flared-out handle right here, side-mounted double deployment button here, but it functions as jimping. I talked about that in the review. Right? It's just sick. This is that matte finished anodizing I talked about, and it's pretty worn. I've thumped on it pretty good, but I like how beat up it is. It makes me happy. It's all Boba Fettish. Awesome. That's a great blade, though. I still love it. Oh, I was going to show you, though, that this has a little bit looser tolerances. Benchmade Infidel. Let's look at the Guardian Tactical. See what I'm saying? That's tight, dudes. For an OTF, that's pretty tight. It's Microtech tight. That's sick, dude. I mean, I still love the Infidel. I'm not selling it. Looseness, whatever. I'll take it. Knife is excellent. Like I said, very enthusiastic about it on the 2 levels. It's technically competent, as you can tell, and also is reversing that auto trend. Oh, by the way, you guys were looking at this. Do you know what this is? Here's your hint. Ripley, 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 slow down, man. You're just grinding, Axel. That's right, aliens, dudes. Yep. I bought this for the boys in 1995. This is a 1/72nd scale aliens armored vehicle. And look, it even has a squished alien underneath. Little mini toy review. So collectible. How sick is this? So I'd play with the boys and we'd have 1/72nd Army men coming here. Yeah, fighting aliens, gun turret on top. Oh, This is such a cool toy. I don't remember who made this. If it was Mattel, Hasbro. That's a weird marking. GTI trademark, and you can see it right there. But we've kept it in good condition. This is a boys. And then patches, of course. NothingFancy, BigCartel.com. We have new stock as requested by you. KRV Complete. This is a great knife. See you.